The cipher that I chose to research is called the Playfair cipher. So the Playfair cipher was invented by Charles Wheatstone in 1884. However, it wasn't named after him. It was named after Lord Playfair because he was the one who pretty much did all the promoting and using the cipher. So it was used by the British and the Australians, both in different wars, but both used it for the same purpose, which was just for tactical purposes. And it's because this cipher specifically is reasonably fast to use and doesn't require any special equipment. So basically, to use the cipher, you encrypt a pair of alphabets or letters instead of just a single alphabet. So the algorithm consists of 2 steps. First, you create your key square, which you will use to encrypt and decrypt, and it's a 5x5 grid of letters. So obviously the alphabet has 26 letters, so you have to take one out, and generally it's usually the letter J. However, if whatever word you're using includes that letter, then you replace it with I. So in order to encrypt the text, you split up. So you have your word, for example, I use the word instruments right here. So you split it up into pairs of 2 letters, and if there's an odd number of letter, then you just add the letter Z to the last letter. So for example, I split this up into the 2 letters, and there's a Z at the end since there's an odd number. However, you can't make a pair with the same letter. So in this word, hello, you would normally have to put the 2 L's together, but since you can't do that, then you put an X by the first letter, or a random letter, it can be whatever. So basically, the decryption process is pretty similar to the encryption process, you just do it in reverse. So the person who is decrypting has to have the same key that the receiver used. So then they would just plug in, for example, like this part of the word and then decrypt it. So this is what one of the key squares looks like, and there are a few different ways that you're able to switch the letters around. So this has a better example. So first we're going to do this one. So if you have 2 letters that are in the same column, then you just take the 2 letters below. So for example, the 2 letters M and E, you would replace M with C and E with L. And then if you have 2 letters in the same column going this way, you would take the rightmost letter next to it. So for example, these 2 letters were S and T. So the S would be replaced by a T, and then the T, you would just go back and replace it with an L. And so if neither of those are applicable, then you would just make a rectangle with your 2 letters. So like, for example, if you have N and I, you would replace it with these 2. Or if you have 2 in the corners, then you would replace it with the opposite corners. Or if they're like this in a square, then you would replace it with the other 2. And then I wasn't really able to find out how the cipher was broken. I found a lot of research basically saying that anytime it was cracked by someone else, the information at that point was useless because it had already happened. But other than that, that's my presentation. Here's my citations, and that's all.